Hi guys, in this video we will be looking at functions, but we'll be looking at question 5. Yes, in our previous video we did look at question 4 in November 2023, grade 12 mathematics. So we're given the graph f of x and the graph of g of x. So this is a parabola and this one is for a hyperbola. They are drawn below, and a point of intersection of G is B. We can see this is where they meet. That's the point of intersection where they are both equal. So B, we are being told that it's the turning point of F, and the graph of F has a negative 3 and 0 and negative 5 and 0. Write down the turning points, write down the coordinates of the turning point of F. Well, from the graph of F, we can see if you can equate x minus 1 is equal to 0, you get 1. So we're going to have 1 and 8. That will be the turning point of F, which is our B in this case. So in other words, we will have our turning point TP will be 1 and 8. Let's put that into practice. Yes, looking at question 5. So we are at 5.1. So our TP turning point is going to be 1 and 8. So we can see that B is our turning point in other words, right? So we are looking at 5.2. Let's go to 5.2. Well, at 5.2, we'll be looking at, write down the coordinate of C. C, guys, we are being told it's a y-intercept. These are 3 marks that you should get. C, it's a what? It's a y-intercept. So, meaning that where we see x, we are going to put 0. Where we see x in the graph of F, we are going to put what? 0. Let's put that into practice. So remember, C is the y-intercept. So since C is the y-intercept, you let x be 0. So that will be negative half x minus 1 squared plus 8. Meaning that where I see x, I'm replacing it with 0. 0 squared plus 8. So let's punch that in our calculator. What are we getting? We are getting 15 all over 2. That will be 15 all over 2. Thus, C, it's going to be 0 and 15 all over 2. Or you can leave it in a mixed fraction. Right, so that's how you can get 5.2. Let's go to 5.3. At 5.3, write down the coordinate of D. Well, okay, we are looking for what? The coordinate of what? Of D. So, the value of D. So, we will use the graph of g of x, d all over x. Let's put that into practice. So, in this case, remember you are having g of x, which is d all over x. So, we look at it, it touches at B. Yes, it touches at B. So, we are going to use that coordinate of B, which was our turning point 1 and 8. Yes, we are going to use 1 and 8. So as that turning point to find the value of D. So we're having 1 and 8. This is x and this is y. Meaning that where there's g of x, you replace it by 8. D, where there's x, you replace it by 1. Then when you multiply by 1 here, you multiply by 1. Therefore, this and this, they cancel. 1 times 8 is 8. Hence, we are going to have g of x as 8 all over x. So we have already calculated the value of D, which is equals to 8. That was 1 mark, right? So you just write D is equals to 8. But it's also essential to show how did you get there, right? So at 5.4, they require us to write down the range of G. Yes, you are required to write down the range of G. It's also 1 mark. The range of G is going to be YER, because we're talking about a parabola, a hyperbola there. So for a hyperbola, it will be YER and Y can't be 0. Let me put that into practice. So in other words, it will be YER, Y is the element of real numbers, comma, Y can't be 0. So that will be our range in this case. So let's go to 5.5. 5.5. They said for which values of x will f of x g of x less than or equal to 0. So for 5.5, for which values of x will f of x multiplied by g of x be less than or equal to 0? So that's 3 marks. So in that case, we will look at the x values. We are looking for the x values where they are both going below. In this case, it will be at -3, as well as we also have 5 here, but 5 is going above here. So here we will have -3. It's less than or equal to x, but it's -3, it's greater or equal to x, but lesser than 0. That's the first solution. The second solution will be x is greater or equal to 5, because here it's not below, it's going above. So as the y value increases, so the x value increases. So it's very important to study this functional notation for your examination on Friday, so that you won't have any problem. Remember, once like this, it means where the x values are going below, right? So let's put that into practice. So at 5.5, we said it's -3, it's greater or equal to x, but lesser than 0, or x is greater or equal to 5. That's the solution at 5.5. So at 5.6, they said calculate the value of k so that h of x will not intersect the graph of what? The graph of g. So let's put that into practice. So in this case, calculate the value of k so that h of x is -2x plus k will not intersect the graph of g. So the best way is to equate, guys. We will need to equate these graphs. So we'll equate the graph of -2x plus k as well as the graph of a hyperbola, and we will put that into practice. So let's put that into practice. So just as I've said, we'll say -2x plus k. Remember, they said calculate the value of k. So you will equate that's a graph of h. You equate it with the graph of g. Remember, they said it will not intersect the graph of g. So let's equate this. So we have 8 all over x. So the best way is to multiply both sides by x. So if I multiply both sides by x, what am I going to have here? I'm going to have 2x squared. Here, that will be kx. If we take 8 to the other side, that will be -8 is equals to 0. So from here, I could, because we have this is negative, I can divide everything by negative. This will be 2x squared. This will be kx. Remember, negative and positive, that will be +8 is equals to 0. So because we are looking for the value of k, we'll use a discriminant. So it will be b squared minus 4ac will not intersect. That will be lesser than 0. Let's see. Let's put that into practice. So we have b as k squared, and we have a as 2. We have c as 8. That will be 0. So we have k squared. -4 times 2, that's -8. -8 times 8, that will be -64. It's lesser than 0. So from here, what do? We need to solve this. Remember, this will be k. There's a difference of 2 squares, k and 8, as well as k and 8, lesser than 0. So the other one positive, the other one negative. So if we were to represent this in an inequality form, this would be -8. It's lesser than k. It's greater than k, but lesser than 8. So we have that's the solution, guys, because they said calculate the values of k so that the h of x will not intersect the graph of g. So these are the values of k. I hope you saw how we tackle such. So you just have to know the rules and follow it. So we are going to the last question, which will be 5.7. For 5.7, h is a tangent to g at r, a point in the first quadrant. Calculate t such that y of x plus t intersect g at r. they said h is the tangent to the graph of g. So at r, a point in the first quadrant, calculate the value of t such that. So where we see f of x, we can put our equation, then we'll take it from there. Let's see how we can tackle such. So in this case, we are at 5.7. So we are being told that y is equals to f of x plus t. Our f of x was negative x half. So this is half 1 over 2x minus 1 squared given there plus t, right? So another way, because they said h is a tangent to g, we could equate both of this graph. Let's say we'll equate this both. Remember, we already calculated k in 5.6. We could say negative 2x squared plus 8 equated to 8 all over x. Then let's work it out. If you multiply by x, you're going to have oh, guys, I'm making some mistakes here. Let me see why, because there it's given as negative 2x plus k. Yes, let's return here at 5.6. Oh, it was negative 2x plus k. So that will be negative 2x plus 8, which is equals to 8 all over x. I saw the mistake now. Sorry for that. Let's rectify it. So, yes, it was not squared. So we need to multiply by x. So we're having 2x squared plus 8x. And this will be, if you multiply both sides by x, this will cancel x, so we'll be left with minus 8 is equals to 0. If you divide by 2, you have x squared. How many times does 2 goes into 8? It goes 4 times, so we are going to have negative 4x. It goes 4 times as well here, but this will be plus, so equals to 0. So what are we going to factorize? Factorize factors of 2. That will be minus 2 is equals to 0, meaning that x will be equal to 2. So that's the x value that we are going to calculate. Then you go back and you go back to the equation of f. Ne? Take this 2 and substitute here. So okay, let's punch our calculator. Whether is x, put 2. What are you getting? We are getting f of 2 will give us 15 all over 2. And let's now substitute to h. The graph of h of 2. Remember they said h is a tangent to g. So h of 2, what is that? When you punch your h of 2, that will be 4. That will be 4. So since we know that when you substitute 2 here, you are going to have what? 15 all over 2. Ne? So it will be 15 all over 2 plus t, which will be equal to h. Remember they said h is a tangent to g at r, a point in the first quadrant. Calculate the value. Calculate t such that y is equals to f of x intersect g at r. So in other words, we'll equate with this, which is 4. So let's take, we will take this to the other side. If we say 4 minus 15 all over 2, what do you get? You get negative 7 all over 2. So that's how it should be with 5.7. Wishing you all the best, guys. See you on question 6, when we do financial mathematics. The video will be available tomorrow. If you're new to this channel, what are you waiting for? Kindly subscribe. You only subscribe once. And remember, we love you.